Every marriage has 3 rings. The engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the bickering. We're here to settle the fights that don't matter and have no winner. It's the 3 Rings Podcast with another new argument.
Hello, once again. Welcome to another weekly episode of the 3 Rings Podcast. My name is Phil.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are...
married.
We are married. And we like to do this podcast to basically just bicker and argue about things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of life.
No.
But they matter a great deal. And I think,
us, at least.
Yeah, anybody that's listened to previous episodes, or maybe this is your first episode, go back, listen to some of the past episodes. They're all fights that you can get very passionate about. And honestly, like, some of these things could make or break relationships pretty early on.
You think so?
I think some of them could.
What of the ones that we've done? Well, I guess I shouldn't say this because we've been disagreeing on all of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, some of them
what
are...
were, like, deal breakers for you when we first started dating?
I don't know. There weren't really a whole lot. Because, obviously, the deal hasn't been broken, so...
Star Wars movies, probably. Had you have seen Star Wars, like Star Wars.
The Star Wars movies, like, can be a big thing. I know we did a rapid fire about money and some of the decisions there, like, that can be really impactful.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the stuff that we do is more just stupid things, but it's things that you're going to argue about, and if you let it get out of control, then it's probably going to lead to a fight. So if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, you know what, like, I'm going to ask my significant other about this, just be careful. All right? Like, don't let it get out of control. That's not the whole purpose of this. You don't want it to get out of control. Trust me. Okay, you don't want to be, sitting in 2 separate rooms fuming because you can't agree on what's the best Justin Timberlake song. Like, you don't want to do that.
No.
But that's why we're here.
Yeah,
we're here to have these arguments. Yeah, get it out in the open, and then you can just contribute along.
Yeah.
You can follow us on all the social media sites, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram at 3 Rings Pod. You can follow along. You can chime in. You can leave us suggestions on things that you think we should fight about, and that's
so I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's called confidence.
So if people, like, as a person who has been married for more than a minute,
yes,
only slightly more, but
yeah.
more, if you are going to fight with your significant other, what are the ways to do that?
Very loud, very aggressively. Throw as many things as you can.
No.
Just scare the other person into submission.
It's abusive. That's abuse.
That's right. Those are things you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to do that. No, you just, like, yes, you're going to get fired up and you're going to be, a little bit more passionate than other times, I guess. So as long as you just do things in a clear and calm-ish manner,
yeah, then
you can usually work things out.
No name calling.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I mean, you treat it like it's any other kind of argument or debate.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about, like, fighting in general.
Oh,
not even about serious or not serious stuff.
So
with your significant other, not
I don't know where to go from there that I didn't already say.
Well, it's just like,
you take over. Like, I don't know what you're trying to push me towards here.
I'm not trying to push you towards anything.
It feels like you're trying to push me towards something. It seemed like you were
directing them on how to, like, argue like we argue on here.
Yeah, that's kind of how you should do it.
I guess that's true.
If you can back up your point with facts and all that, like, obviously, anytime you're in an argument or anything like that, like, your end goal is you want to change the other person's mind. Like, that is your goal if you're having an argument.
Usually,
it's to prove that you're right and they're wrong. So come with the facts.
Yes.
That's pretty much it. And
anything you say is like toothpaste. Once it's out, you can't put it back in.
Yeah. So just be prepared for something like that. And also be prepared for the fact that there might not be a winner, because this is what we do every single week, and there's never a fucking winner. It's not how it works sometimes.
Although people did say that the aliens would like you better.
I mean, of course they would.
That was not your response the first time.
But given the new information that I have. It is my prerogative to be able to change my mind when presented with new facts. That's how life should work. When you have new facts, you should be allowed to change your mind. Looking at you, Twitter.
You should. Well, if you have new facts, you absolutely should change your mind, and people should not give you shit for it.
Also, opinions are not facts.
Yes, absolutely. Feelings aren't facts.
No. Facts are facts.
Yep. But
that's a scary rabbit hole we're about to go down. We're not going to do that.
But people did agree that the aliens would like you more.
I mean, I get it. But do you think that the wizard community would like me more?
Probably.
Why do you say probably?
I think they would. You'd be better at it than I would.
I would be a better wizard than you would?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know about that. You're like, when it comes to like schooling and stuff, you're into it.
I'm not studious, yes.
You're very Hermione.
I feel like, yes. Yeah. But I feel like I don't know. Wizarding is kind of like a contact sport, and that's not where
you don't need to play Quidditch. Like, it's okay.
But like, even just, I don't know. I don't feel like I'd be very good at the wand stuff.
Being able to like flick a wand?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be very good at it. I'd like accidentally throw it, or like, I'm like clumsy.
But a lot of it is also remembering spells and everything.
Yeah, I'd be good at that part. I just wouldn't be good at,
So you'd just be sitting there whispering in my ear and be like, this is what you do. Real quick, do this. Yeah. Do this. Avada Kedavra. Kill that fucker.
Yeah. I just wouldn't be... I wouldn't be very good at the wand stuff. I'd be good at, like... You know what I'd be good at is, like, potions.
Okay.
Or, what's the... What was the class that McGonagall taught? Where you turn into the animal?
The, like, transfiguration?
Yes, I'd be good at that. I would not be good at, like, I wouldn't be good at, like, wand things or, like, spell casting.
Well, this makes a lot more sense why you picked the Harry Potter house that you picked. That's what we're going to be debating this week. So for all you millennials, get your robes and your wands that you have somewhere, because I know that you probably do. And we're going to be talking about what is the best Harry Potter house at Hogwarts.
Yes, and I chose Hufflepuff.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Hearing your rationale behind everything and be like, do you think you'd be a good wizard? I don't think so. Yeah, Hufflepuff is... That's right up your alley. I picked the most obvious, which is Gryffindor.
Yeah, that is pretty obvious.
Yeah, well...
Why don't you go first, because I went first last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, the main 3 points for Gryffindor, I'll skip number 1, because I'll come back to that. But number 2, Gryffindor, it's the house of the brave. So, I mean, that's a big deal. We'll get to that. Number 3, most Gryffindors have a good moral compass, which is pretty fucking important. Most. Yeah. But number 1, the most obvious, we got Harry Potter. So, kind of a win right off the bat, right there.
Sure, okay.
And not only do we have Harry Potter, let me also throw in the added bonus of we also have Dumbledore. Had. Ooh, too soon.
Philip.
Had Dumbledore. But,
oh my God.
I mean, you got Harry, you got Dumbledore was Gryffindor. I mean, you got some big names. So you got arguably the most powerful wizard to have ever lived. You got the boy who lived. I mean, that's a pretty good way to start off right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. But, like...
Yeah. I'm sure it's just coincidence, too. I'm like, they just both happen to be in there.
My 3 points are, like, Hufflepuff is... They're very open and inviting, and they're kind. And kindness is very important.
Okay.
God, I think Phil's Slytherin. I think that's what we're... I think Phil's
We're not talking about which one I belong in. We're talking about which one's the best.
Okay. Hufflepuff is described as being just, loyal, patient, and true, and hardworking, which I think day to day is better than brave.
Okay.
And Gryffindor people were funny and, like, smart and cool and stuff, but, like...
Thank you.
They were also kind of, like, selfish and arrogant. And Hufflepuff is humble. And it also produced, like, some pretty exceptional wizards.
Okay. Like, exceptional, like Harry Potter and Dumbledore? Like, that exceptional?
Oh my God.
That
Make your points. Go.
Well, I made my first one already.
Okay.
We
Go.
got Harry Potter. Like, who are you going to go up against? You're like, okay. Got Harry. Got Dumbledore. Ron, Hermione. They're all right. Like, pretty much the entire Weasley family, which is like half of Hogwarts.
Harry Potter, he was like this close to being in Slytherin.
Yeah.
So,
but he wasn't. It's about making a choice. It's literally what it comes down to is he made the choice. He wanted to be there, and that's what he got.
He wanted to be there. He didn't know, like, A, he didn't know, like, Jack when he went in, and then B, like, he was, like, swayed by other people's opinions. Like, they told him. Like, and I will say, like, in the books, like, the general opinion about, like, Hufflepuff is kind of, like, bad. Like, they are viewed as being, like, stupid. And I'll get to a little bit more of that, but, like,
What, are you going to call Dumbledore stupid?
no, he's not stupid.
Then
Just keep going. Keep going.
I don't know what you're trying to say there. It
Keep
sounds like
going.
you're trying to say that Dumbledore is stupid, but Gryffindor is the house of the brave. They do talk about that. The actual quote: "You might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart. Their daring nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart." So not only brave, but also chivalrous. Pretty important as well. But some of the biggest attributes to being a good person involve chivalry, involve being brave, being able to take chances, and that kind of sums up the mantra of what Gryffindor is.
Okay, and like being brave is great. And in the books, like, yes, they were going through like a trying time, so it was important, but like day to day, like bravery is not going to get you very far with people.
I don't know what you mean. Like bravery doesn't have to be like, you know, I'm going up against, you know, the basilisk
No,
by myself.
I
like that.
understand
I mean,
that.
that's a form of bravery, but like bravery comes in little packages as well. Like you need to have some bravery. You can't just be, you know,
Well, like,
a coward.
if you
hide.
had to choose between a friend who was like kind to you and a friend who was brave, what would you pick?
Depends on what I need them for. Why can't I be friends with both people?
Because you have to choose between, in this scenario, you have to choose between one or the other.
I mean, that just seems like a stupid scenario. I don't want either of them as friends then.
Oh my god.
If I have to choose between friends, I don't know. I'll do it myself.
You choose, if you had to choose between two people to be your friends, you'd choose no friends?
I put it back on whoever's telling me I have to pick one. Be like, no, you pick one.
But like, okay.
It's your problem now.
This is just you.
Bye.
This is just you that, or if you, okay, if people, if you would rather what would you rather be described as? Would you rather be described as kind, or would you rather be described as brave?
Again, I think it depends on the context.
Oh my god. You just have to choose one.
I mean, me personally, I'd rather people think that I'm kind.
Yes, see?
But, I mean, anybody who's ever listened to any of these episodes knows that that's a stretch sometimes. So I really want people to know that I am actually kind, even though I'm a dick.
No, you're not a dick.
I can be.
Anybody
very much can be.
Anybody can be.
But
like,
again, if anybody can be a dick, that means anybody can be kind, which means anybody can also be brave. So all these attributes are kind of a little bit flexible, aren't they?
I mean, yes, but I'm saying, like, out of the two, Jesus Christ, you are like, this is like, you're like twisting words now. Like,
Yes.
it's not, your arguments don't even make sense.
My argument still makes sense. I'm just trying to confuse you now.
Oh my god. Just make your third point.
Well, my third point, it really boils down to, with Gryffindor, most of Gryffindor, there's always exceptions. There's always going to be exceptions in all the houses, and that's just how people and wizards are. But most of the people in Gryffindor have a good moral compass. So that usually leads them to the right place, even if it means doing something that's not going to be in their own self-interest. So it's, you know, it's taking one for the team. It's, you know, Harry deciding I'm going to let Voldemort kill me in the forest, because like it's like he's doing the right thing even though he knows that it's not the best thing for him. So it's all about finding the good that's, you know, kind of in all of, well, most of the people in Gryffindor. So, and you see that throughout the series. You find it throughout the characters. I mean, that example with Harry, that's one. Dumbledore giving his life, spoiler, sorry, You know, so like that's another example. Like Ron and Hermione, you see that throughout the entire series as well. You see it especially towards the end with their relationship, how they start fighting, but they're trying to do the right thing because it's their internal moral compass that's pointing them in the right direction, no matter what the cost might actually be for themselves. They're usually heading in the right direction, which, I mean, that in itself is pretty important as well.
I would argue that the people of Hufflepuff also like had a pretty strong moral compass. Like at the Battle of Hogwarts, Hufflepuff was second to Gryffindor in having the most participants in the battle.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not that they don't have a good moral compass, too. I'm sure that a lot of people on Ravenclaw had a good moral compass. It's just, I think that is a overarching quality.
I mean, I don't know if that necessarily is. Like, how many people in Hufflepuff do you see that are, like, going out on a limb for, for other people? It seems like they're more...
It's one of their, like, the tenets of their house.
You're going to have to explain.
Okay, so, this gets into my point. So, Hufflepuff is open and inviting, and their, like, kindness is key. So, like, as the Sorting Hat song in the Order of Phoenix explained that Hufflepuff... I cannot say.
Hufflepuff. They strong!
Hufflepuff believes in teaching and treating them equally, like treating everybody as equals. And it also sings a song, You Might Belong in Hufflepuff, where they are just and loyal. Those patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil. So they're described as being just, which is like, that comes into play with having a good moral compass, loyal, patient, and true, and hardworking, which I think day to day you want more than brave.
But correct me if I'm wrong before you go into that. Isn't that like the characteristics of like the loyalty? Isn't that like to a fault where they are over trusting, they're over loyal to people that they shouldn't be?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that.
I think that was a big part of Fantastic Beasts, right? Isn't he? Because what's his name?
Scamander.
Yeah, he's a Hufflepuff, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he's over trusting, and it gets him into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, the Gryffindors, like, I think the other side of the coin is that Gryffindor, they wanted, as much as they were brave, they also wanted notoriety. Like, that's the downfall of that house, is that they are like trying so hard to like set themselves apart that they also want notoriety. So like every house has downsides, but I don't think that being overly trusting is necessarily like a bad quality. It's just a quality of being like tender-hearted.
I don't know. I'd rather be like over ambitious than be overly trusting.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're overly trusting too, like, usually the person who like suffers is you. If you're overly ambitious, usually the people who suffer are other people.
But it's not me.
But like, do you see where that's like a bad quality?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that, to say that they're trusting to a fault is like a bad thing is not necessarily. I don't agree with that.
I think it can be, but continue on. Sorry.
Okay, so then
cut you off.
my third point. So Minerva McGonagall said that all four houses have produced like witches and wizards who are exceptional.
She's a Gryffindor too.
Yes, she is.
She is. Cool.
Okay, so but due to Helga Hufflepuff's policy of accepting any student, they were viewed as like not having the brightest bulbs because they were like willing to take anybody. But they also they produced really great wizards like Newt Scamander, and there was hold on, I'm trying to find the name. A minister of magic, which was Artemisia Lufkin, and Arithmancer Bridget Wenlock. So like there were famous wizards that came out of the house.
Famous-ish. You can't even say one of their names.
Oh my god! Just because I'm not an expert on fucking Harry Potter doesn't mean that weren't.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so what makes Hufflepuff different is that they don't boast about these accomplishments.
Okay.
So even J.K. Rowling made a comment that she said Hufflepuff stayed in the fight of the Battle of Hogwarts not because they were battle hungry like Gryffindor, but because they felt a sense of duty, and that's straight from J.K. Rowling. So like,
Okay.
Gryffindor wanted to be in that fight because they were battle hungry and they wanted like notoriety, like I said.
Well, they also wanted to defeat evil.
Everybody did, though.
there's still
Hufflepuff did too, but they did it out of a sense of duty. They weren't trying to be like, they weren't doing it to say like, oh, I was at the Battle of Hogwarts.
It sounds
like
they were kind of on the sidelines waiting, and it's like, you know, like, is Gryffindor gonna do it? All right, they didn't do it. Like, all right, we got to help out. Like, it seemed like they weren't.
That's
like,
not what she said. She said that they participated because they felt it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Not because they were battle hungry and not because they wanted the fame for doing it, but because it was the right thing to do.
I mean, wouldn't you think by that logic that they would have stepped up earlier and like helped out with everything?
They did.
Before the battle.
They did.
What are you You're talking about the battle. You're saying like she's explicitly talking about the battle.
She is. She's saying that they participated right from the jump. They participated from the jump, but not because they thought it was going to give them fame.
I'm talking before the battle. I'm talking way before, when it's like
Cedric Diggory was a Hufflepuff. He was helping.
Worked out well for him.
Oh my god. He was helping try and figure out what was going on. Like that they were participating from the get-go.
I don't think they were participating as much as they could have if they were looking to do the right thing. I'm just saying.
You
just
chose
going by
the
that
easy
logic.
house. You chose the easy house.
What do you mean easy house?
Because
we're
of
talking
course
about
you
the
could
best
fall
house.
back on. But of course you can fall back on Harry Potter being in the house.
The house with the heroes. Yeah, it's
There were
pretty
heroes
easy.
from all of them.
Who else? Who was it? Who else was a hero? You had Harry. You had Ron. You had Hermione. You had Dumbledore. You had Neville. Neville, very big hero out of all of it.
Neville also was almost a Hufflepuff.
Okay, almost. Horseshoes, hand grenades.
Good lord. I
I'm
literally
just
can't
saying.
even like.
I'm just saying though, like when you
You chose
list
the
off
easy house.
I could have chose Slytherin.
Why
Okay.
didn't you?
I mean,
Because it's not
I
as
could-
easy to argue for.
I understand. I think. All right. So without looking at any notes, proving with Slytherin again, you have a house filled with very, very powerful wizards.
Hufflepuff had powerful wizards too. They just didn't brag about it like everybody else did. That's one of their things. They're humble.
Okay, but still,
Slytherin's straight up evil. How are you going to argue for Slytherin?
Slytherin was evil. I mean, this is a very tough argument. The more I think about it right now. I mean, they were very strong. They obviously had,
I don't
had power.
want. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
You can't just tell me that I picked an easy house.
You did pick an easy house, but if you're gonna
best
be,
house.
you picked the easiest house.
Picked the best.
You picked the easiest.
Best.
But which house do you think you're in?
Which house do you think I'm in?
Yeah.
I think that I've actually taken like that main quiz. I think I did actually end up in Gryffindor.
Yeah, I would have guessed Gryffindor or Ravenclaw for you.
Yeah. And we straight up know that you're a Hufflepuff.
Yes.
Like, you don't even need to take the quiz. We just know. But yeah, I think when I took it, I think I was at Gryffindor. Might have to go back and take it again just to be sure.
What was the website? Pottermore?
I think
I wonder
so.
if that's still like a thing.
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, like,
You can get into Pottermore.
yeah, sure.
All right.
Again, it's a very millennial thing to do, is talk about Harry Potter and talk about Harry Potter houses. Twitter's going to be like, oh my God, of course, they're 30 and they're talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
up,
Get fucked, Twitter.
Philip?
All you little
I don't
fucking
want the
K-pop
little,
trolls and
I don't
shit.
want the little
you guys
E
suck.
next to our podcast, so you gotta dial it down a notch.
It's always going to be there, and K-pop fans are always going to be the worst on Twitter.
Oh my god. Okay, so if you would like to weigh in, please do. Not about K-pop, but about which Hogwarts house is the best. You can find us at 3 Rings Pod. That's THREA Rings Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we would love to hear from you. Please listen to us, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and share us with your friends. And we will be back next week with
The best fast food place.
okay.
And, like, I'm talking like legit fast food, not
like a drive-through, not like fast casual.
Yeah, not like be like, oh, I'm still gonna order up at there, but like definitely not gonna be weird like sitting down eating. Like, you know, you get what I mean?
No.
I feel less weird sitting down at like a Qdoba or a Chipotle and eating than I do sitting down at a Taco Bell and eating.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, so definitely like straight up fast food, not fast casual.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to another weekly episode of the Three Rings Podcast. We'll be back next week with another new argument. In the meantime, follow us on all social media platforms at Three Rings Pod. Join in the argument and tell us who's right, who's wrong, or why you have the right answer. Whatever. Just tell us stuff.